Welcome to the Shivan Library. This is the promised bonus game of the North Star Cup tournament, and a little bit of extra fun at the end. The fourth tournament of 2023 ended in a three-way tie score, with tiebreakers going for the wondrous Cobalt deck, which was declared the winner on so many levels. This bonus game could be considered a silver medal match, as the second and third decks are battling it out. In a sense, with nothing to lose, we were able to play with more interesting starting hands, which perhaps we would not kept in a more serious game. And one reason why I wanted to get this bonus game in was because these decks are both highly aggressive. I knew before we started that these games will not be going long, and seeing what is about to happen, I was absolutely right. First, let's take a quick peek at my list. The pages inside my Erhnam Burn'em should be pretty familiar at this point. It is a green-red aggro deck that casts creatures, buffs them up with giant growth on Berserk, and closes the game with red burn spells. Hit pause if you want to browse the list a bit longer, as we are heading to my opponent's list straight away. Now, there's a lovely smile, both in the amazing deck photo as well as the Atog in the middle. And now you might guess why I wanted the bonus game? Erhnam Burn'em against Atog is quick and very painful match. Atog, as the name implies, is built around the namesake creature Atog. It is filled with small artifacts that are basically either giving mana or dealing damage. Those are all meant to be used later and eaten up by Atog for one large swing. To help close the gap, the deck runs both lightning bolts and chain lightning as well as ball lightnings. This build splashes in blue and black as well for those couple of high-powered spells, Time Walk and Ancestral Recall from blue, and Demonic Tutor, Mind Twist, and a single mainboard Terror from black. The land base holds really no surprises. Mishra's factories do double duty here as creatures that can attack, and artifacts that can be then fed to the Atog should you need to. And with so many artifact mana sources, they can easily run that single Library of Alexandria for that little extra card draw should the stars align correctly. The sideboard here is fairly weak against Erhnam. The second Terror and the Earthquake are here the notable cards, while others not doing so much. The Shivan Dragon might get boarded in if my opponent's feeling wary about bouncing chain lightnings. And now, if you are ready for some high-octane action, let's start slinging spells. But before we go, hit that like button and subscribe for more old-school magic here in the Shivan Library. And heading into game number 1, my opponent took a mulligan, I'm on the play, and let's start emptying my hand out. A Black Lotus start, always a fast one, and Llanowar Elf number 1, Llanowar Elf number 2, soldering into Chaos Orb and Hamheim. That is a way to start. 1 card left in hand, 6 card thrown on the board on turn 1 with the Chaos Orb. So my opponent will be knows that the first thing they play is gonna get blown out. And they gave me a Library of Alexandria as a target. Now this could be bait, but that is a strong bait card to start with. But I think the good play here is just to activate the Chaos Orb and get the tempo play out. Let's see, the Soul Ring as a target. And boom, that was clean. The Library of Alexandria is down, the elves are going in for a swing. That basically bought me a free turn, so in a sense that is absolutely worth it. Because I know we're going to be having a good old slugfest here, so chain lightning for 1 month. So getting that damage in early is going to be really important. And it is unlikely that the Library of Alexandria would be useful in a game like this, but you never know what kind of hand my opponent kept. Oh, a double black Vice. Yeah, that start for me just got a lot better. Those 2 cards are somewhat dead. Scavenging Folk, yeah, those Vices aren't my priority target. They will come in handy, though, later on for this exact reason. The timing of my opponent is perfect. Atog is going to be eating those vices pretty quickly, and I think I need to kind of make sure the Atog won't be getting into too large territory, like making my opponent just sack artifact, basically turning those chain lightning and lightning bolts into shatters, especially making sure that Erhnam Jin is going to be able to plow through and connect. Oh, that is a terror, so my plan just went out the window. The Atog is coming in for a swing, and yep, the Black Vice is going to be fed at this point. Yeah, my opponent wants to make sure I don't have targets for my Scavenging Folk. It is a good question, how quickly do you want to feed things to the Atog compared to like waiting and getting that kind of massive swing later on. My opponent is familiar with this deck, so I would assume his decisions are good. So getting that early damage in. And there's the power of the blue splash on this deck, which is literally just power. Ancestral Recall, getting those 3 cards in, one of the better reasons to get that extra color into your Atog deck. And it is especially good with cards like those burn spells, lightning bolts and chain lightnings, because you can actually burn through your hand pretty quickly using those cheap spells as an additional booster for your Atog, and Ancestral refueling your hand immediately after. And a little changing of damage here, creature swinging in. I'm looking at the situations thinking like I'm down in this trade, I'm gonna lose earlier, so I'm gonna keep that Scavenging Folk ready for the Miniatures Factory, but there's a Ball Lightning. That's a card I did not want to see here. That's gonna hurt. So yeah, getting rid of that factory, the Atog will eat it. The problem is I'm staring down the barrel again, because if there is a second Ball Lightning, I'm basically dead. No matter what I do with these blocks here, they don't really matter. My creatures are generally too small. Unless I have an Erhnam Jin, I'm in trouble. Fireball for the Atog and swing with the elf. Basically, if it's Ball Lightning, I'm dead. If it's not, we're gonna have a battle. And it is a Ball Lightning, yeah. This was kind of a lost game for me. The start was amazing, but my opponent had just so many strong cards. Nonetheless, let us continue with the game. And it's game number 2. I'm mulliganing down to 5. That's not a good start, but let's see how good my hand is. Taiga into Mox into Sol Ring into Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, I'm keeping wild hands this time. Let's see, the opponent 3 land Ankh, Sol Ring, Mind Twist and a Library. Oh, that would have been a powerful hand. I would have lost mine and the opponent would have been gaining a lot more if the game went along with the library, but let's see what the new 7's gonna be bringing. Do I get any other? No other free spells, so passing the turn right away. Opponent getting a random 7. And at this point it's good to mention, I hope you have noticed the slab, the coaster under the beer can. My opponent's Race Dead is there as their favorite coaster, and a kind of a pickup joke after the next day of drinking, that beer can's gonna raise them from the dead. And for me it's a Scavenger Folk and an Erhnam Jin straight away. I got a good 7 drawn from that wheel, and of course having a Mox and a Sol Ring doesn't harm at all. An opponent keeping a slow and steady hand, but they are having something here. A small fireball for the Scavenging Folk. Probably a bit afraid of their Mox getting eaten. Is it a situation where they need a lot of mana, or is that their only black source and they are hoping to get those terrors in? Nonetheless, the Erhnam is getting through and boosted with a giant growth. I'm gonna start getting that damage in as fast as I can, because I know for a fact that that Erhnam ain't gonna stay in long if my opponent has a... didn't have a terror, but had a ball lightning, yeah. Even the score's out, 13 to 14. I'm still a bit in the head, and that lightning bolt's gonna help me a little bit more. Now, this is a good and fast race. They're down to 6. I'm counting my mana. That doesn't look good for my opponent. The fireball getting the job done. X-axis down to 0. And time for the final game. Game number 3. This has been a quick beating for both players. Oh, opponent deciding their mana a bit better. Okay, I know something bad is about to happen to my first spell if they want red and black mana available, but let's see. Who's gonna be the target? Llanowar Elf, and with a load start. Oh, this is getting fast. Yeah, it was a lightning bolt. My opponent didn't need the red mana after all to clear out the first creature from my side. And there's the Mishra's Factory that quickly peeked in on turn number 1. But how fast is the start? Mind Twist for 2. That's a good start. Hope they don't hit all my mana sources, all my good threats. Let's see. Out of 5, what cards am I gonna lose? Giving my opponent the option. Number 2 and number 5, Giant Growth and a Mountain. Well, not bad, not bad. A mana source, well, I do have the Lotus in play, but a stable mana source would have been probably better. And the Giant Growth, well, that's not a big loss. Okay, so mana is covered. 6 available. And where does this go? No need to... Yeah, okay, my hand was weak enough. The wheel was good. Opponent losing a Lightning Bolt and an Earthquake. Ooh, that was good to get rid of. Those are one of these better sideboard pieces against me. And I just threw out a Regrowth. Yeah, no wonder I'm going for the wheel. Saving the Lotus for the second hand. A Llanowar Elf and a Sylvan Library. Okay, now I get to start filtering out my draws. It is extremely dangerous in a match like this to draw those extra cards because these are close ones. I most likely will not be able to properly use it, but at least I can keep 1 or 2 dead cards just hovering on top of my deck. Oh, and there's the Black Vice after the wheel. That's gonna hit me a little bit, but the situation ain't bad. We're kind of even at this point. And an Ankh of Mishra, yeah, that's... Now my opponent's lock pieces are getting in, and I'm kind of guessing that Strip Mine is going to be used pretty quickly, just to make sure I don't get the mana. Yeah, picking it up, hitting my forest. Yeah, my opponent's thinking probably that Llanowar Elf is something they can get rid of easier than my Mox, so try to cut me off from green. That's the first draw, and there's the extra 2 for this Sylvan. Am I seeing something worth picking, or am I just filtering it at this point? Right now I probably would be looking for Scavenging Folk or something to probably get rid of the Ankh, or perhaps just fast spells to empty out my hand. Yeah, Chain Lightning, that's exactly what I'm guessing, because the Ankh is a damage dealer for both. And of course, me getting that Strip Mine to get rid of their Mishra's Factory, that's gonna even the score for me. They have to play lands, they have to take damage, and I got at least 1 creature in play. And a Soul Ring is something I really love to see at this point. This opens up Erhnam Djinn's medium-sized fireballs, and without taking any damage from the Ankh of Mishra. Opponent, yep, taking a little damage. It is possible that that Ankh might actually bite them more than it does me. And there's the Atog. Now, this gets interesting because now I can start threatening the Atog and make sure my opponent actually wants to eat both of those artifacts. I don't need to kind of destroy them myself. So any Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Giant Growth, all are good right now. And there is a lot of calculations in this game, because this is a close one. And we are talking about the Ankh at this point, and how much damage are we willing to take? And I am moving my card, so which land is it gonna be? There's probably a couple of good options, most likely Pendlehavens or Green Manas, and yeah, and there's the little nod on the raised dead slab. The funny thing is, we both ordered our own coasters without knowing what the other person is doing, and they both arrived on the exact same day, coming from two different grading companies. My coaster's not making an appearance right now, but might be seen on some later videos. And there is the lightning bolt on the Atog, making my opponent eat some of their artifacts. The black vice, of course, the first to go. My hand's already shrunk down to 2 cards, so that ain't gonna be doing much. Now I just have to get rid of the Ankh. Opponent taking another 2 damage, going down to 12. Ooh, ball lightning, something I did not want to see at this point. Those are gonna help my opponent to raise so well. The Vanilla Elf jumps in front of the Atog, and I got a giant growth. Now my opponent has to make the decision, do you want to eat something or not? Atog went to 3-4, and my elf is still a 4-4, so the Ankh is probably just gonna need to go. You're already in for one, you gotta take the other one as well. But no, there was a second giant growth. The Atog is gone, and my elf gets to stay in play. No, yeah, I did drop down to 9, so a single ball lightning will not kill me, but holding on to a lightning bolt at this point probably would be useful. But let's see, picking out cards from the bottom. That's not a good sign, meaning 2 cards on top are not worth it. Pendlehaven is probably a good card, and at this point I made a little mistake. I took 2 damage from the Ankh that does not exist anymore. Yeah, that thing got me haunted well. And yeah, fixing my life total back to 9. Lightning bolt on the elf. Okay, we're going to the top deck mode. Opponent with 2 cards in hand. I got nothing but the library. Going from the bottom. And a script sprites, yeah. Anything that can cause damage on a steady rate is golden. Ooh, there's a dangerous little ball lightning. And the problem is I'm at 9. If I take it, I'm on bolt range. So yeah, I have to block it, and pumping the script with the Pendlehaven, I only take 3 points. Now, another ball lightning would kill me, but at least a lightning bolt doesn't, and they don't have enough mana for a lethal fireball. So now, who gets the better top decks wins the game. City of Brass ain't the best card, neither is that mountain, so happy with that trade. Script Sprite, good one. Oh, little correct those mana, yeah. There probably isn't anything that deals only 2 damage, but just to be safe. Both players hell-bent, no cards in hand, and there's ton of mana, so this is gonna be just basically a race for a fireball. Script swing for 2, dropping them down to 8. Ooh, and my giant growth, basically a lightning bolt at this point. Dropping my opponent down to 5 life. And there is a Mishra's Factory, probably the best land they could get, but that's not a fireball, so it ain't the game. But that one is. It is game over. And my oh, that would have been a bad top decks. Yeah, this was clearly game over at this point. This was exactly what I wanted to see. Fast action, burn spells flying to and from, and creatures just swinging in with reckless abandon. There was no need for control, just hit him hard and see who is left standing when the dust settles. The start of the first game was just a perfect example of this. Dropping in 6 cards on turn 1 and just hoping to see something good from the top of the deck is just the type of thing you might not be keeping in a serious match. Here, I just wanted to see what would happen. The whole match was a quick one. If you count the actual gameplay time and not the shuffling, The 3 games took a total of 15 minutes to play through, with both players getting to go all out, and with that cliffhanger end, I couldn't have asked for more. I'm so glad my opponent wanted to play this bonus match. It was a real fun one. But that's it for this North Star Cup event. Next in line will be something a bit different. We are running Timmy's Color Clash tournament. If you want a sneak peek of what this is, take a look at Timmy the Sorcerer's tournament on his channel. We will be going over everything on the first episode video, but we are using the same rule set that Timmy's crew figured out. But this tournament is now in the archives, and it's time to shut the lights and lock the doors. Thank you for visiting the Shivan Library, and I hope to see you here again.